It is day 29, and I'm starting to realize that things are coming to a close. And I'm glad at a time when I think the relationship with Paris has really been revisited and renewed, and I get so much joy in wandering the city now. And I think it's because I've let go of whatever projections of coolness or international factor or whatever I had projected onto the city, I've let go of. And I suppose it is a little like some of the relationships that we have all been in where um, we project that perfection onto somebody, that they are the solution to all of our problems. Not that I view the city as the solution to all of our problems, but there is that initial romance of everybody showing their best side and how perfect everything is. And I don't know that I saw huge cracks in the facade of Paris. I think it is still a fantastic city, but it couldn't possibly deliver on what I was projecting onto it. And I think as I've let go of that, I'm more able to simply accept the city as it is. And in that factor, I love it. And I enjoy wandering the streets. I enjoy the rhythm of the city. I enjoy riding the metro, and I enjoy the familiarity that I somewhat know my way around now. I have been to more and more of the metro stations that map of the city has been built in my head, and it doesn't feel like just a bunch of random points on a Google Maps sort of document. I think there is a real sense of what different areas feel like, what it was like to wander different areas. It's been great to go down some of the streets that I have ridden under as on the metro. And so, again, as they announce the street stations or the stations that are often named after the local streets, I have a bit of a sense of what's going on above ground. For the first little while, it sort of felt like you would hop on a metro and just randomly tunnel underground with no idea what was happening above you until you got to your metro station. And now, again, there is a bit of a sense of how all those pieces fit together. I think some of where it's been a different experience is Paris, Rome, Barcelona also tend to be those cities where a lot of North Americans, at least, have their first European experiences. It is sort of the most well-known of cities. The tourism is insanely high here. And I think when it is your first experience, it is overwhelmingly magic. It is, in comparison to being in North America, a level of beauty and a level of history and a level of arts and a level of things you have seen on TV for years that it is incredibly magical. But I come here having a fair bit of experience traveling around Europe and quite a few European cities, quite a few French cities. And so I absolutely have the deep love of France. This experience compared to having a month in Bordeaux or Toulouse or Lille, there's some similarities and differences. And I think there is a set of attractions that you will only find in Paris, of course. But the trade-off, I think, is that there are so many tourists all going to many of those attractions, and it is somewhat more difficult than I thought to find some of those off the beaten path places. And I think perhaps that's why I've enjoyed my local suburbs so much. It feels very French. It feels removed from some of the busyness and some of um, the heterogeneity of Paris architecture. I love Haussmann architecture, but it is very similar without good street markings. I'm not sure, at least at this point, maybe if you've lived here your whole life, if I could tell the 5th from the 14th from the 17th, because it is all pretty uniform and it gives the city a beautiful, unique look. But the level of exploring doesn't feel quite the same as it has in other European cities for me, where I've explored different neighborhoods that all had a very different flavor to them. And so some of perhaps my disillusionment also represented loving the European experience, loving the French experience, and having a mixed experience of Paris. And that's totally okay. That's great learning for me. it will shape kind of future trips here. And it continues to challenge me in what I want out of that experience. It's still a bit tricky to do a digital nomad experience, I would say, because it's been okay to combine work and to combine travel, especially here in some ways because of the time zone difference. But I never feel like I'm in fully one camp or the other, I suppose, in some ways. And so um, getting used to what it means to try and do some tourist things, but still get back to do some work. And I don't have a good steady routine, and to some degree, I'm not sure how much of a routine I want. I want these experiences to be open and to have some flexibility to book some things, but leave other spaces open, to know that this time of year there will be some good weather and some not so good weather, and giving me the flexibility. But it's maybe the thing that I somewhat miss from being at home is really around at home. I think I'm a little more structured, a little more routine. I have a better sense of what's happening on what days. And here it's not the same. And I think that's great for the first 2.5 weeks. I think at 3 or 4, I would say actually at 3, it was a little bit of a challenge, just feeling out of sorts a little bit and really coming to terms with some of those projections of the city that I was dealing with. And then by week 4, I think I had somewhat let it go as well and could simply appreciate it for what it was, to enjoy and appreciate the flexibility. As these last few days have been, it's been really sort of thinking about what are those last places that I need to go to, and I don't know that there is any that actually I need to go to. I think it's been the simplicity of wandering. There's some shopping that I wanted to do to kind of bring back gifts for different people, and so that has taken me to some other different places to go to some particular stores. Again, great exploring in a very kind of no pressure way, no expectations, and again enjoying. I think if there was a good lesson for me in all of this, the fewer expectations I have, the more pleasant and surprising the whole experience is. And so if you are thinking about what it means to be a digital nomad after 40, I absolutely encourage you to try it. I think having the flexibility, understanding that you may not want to work full hours when you're away, but if you've got that flexibility to be able to work part-time or not, how long you go, I think is always an interesting question. I think a month was perfect this round. I haven't yet found the destination where I feel like I want to spend 3 months or 6 months, but I don't rule that out by any means. I think, in fact, probably there is a part of me that would want 3 months or 6 months, a little bit more, because I think the other thing that I've realized here is a month is great to get your lay of the land and to be able to engage in daily life quite comfortably. But you haven't yet built that social network. You haven't yet made any friends to go out with or to go for dinner or drinks or that sort of thing. And that takes a little bit longer. And again, in a city like Paris, though it is very international, my sense is most people are here for a short period of time, either on vacation or for work. And there isn't that same nucleus of expats that there may be in other cities around the world, where you're a smaller group of expats and you may gravitate towards each other a little bit more. Having said that, again, and being able to speak French, I would be probably more happy building those friendships and relationships with local Parisians, perhaps, than expats. And happy to go for dinner and do social things, and even some of the shows and events and those sorts of things. I see the posters, but they can sometimes be another month away. They advertise early, it sort of seems like to me, and so it's like, oh, there's a show I want to see. Oh, it's next month when I'm gone. That's a shame, I won't get to see it. And I think that's a little bit of a challenging aspect of this as well, is that at 30 days, there is a part of me that feels like I live here. There is a part of me that has that routine that exists here. And there's a strange part of me that thinks, of course, the city will go on when I'm no longer here. but there's a little part of me that is sad about that, I suppose, that in a parallel universe, I think the me that lived here and continued on with routines and got more settled in and continued to build what a world it would be in Paris is a lovely idea. And I say that truly with no intentions or desire to move here permanently. But I think I have enjoyed the person that I am while I'm here. And I think um, I appreciate the creativity, the beauty of the city, the rhythm of the city, the look of the sounds of the city, um, the local produce and markets and bakeries and all of the things that make up what it is and what it means to be French or Parisian or European. And I will really miss those. I will absolutely miss those. And those were really some of the big reasons that I wanted to come and spend the time here. I've always said my sense of life, my priorities, my values, perhaps even to some degree, probably align a little bit more with a European lifestyle than a North American lifestyle. I think I am far less determined to have showy wealth or to, have a giant house full of toys and electronics and distractions and the latest X, Y, and Z electronic things. I think I value more the ability to really be here and really be in the moment and have the experience of being here. It is the classic Americans making a broad statement here. Americans, North Americans live to work, and Europeans work to live. And there is a difference in those, I think. It is dismaying to me, I suppose, when I see some of the statistics around both low vacation allocations and the large number of people that don't fully take their vacations in some places. And here you have shorter work week and much, much more vacation. And there is a real sense that work is not the center place of your life. And I value that and I appreciate that. And I think having left a corporate role, I appreciate that more than ever. And I think that asks some deeper questions as well. My guess is Europeans define themselves less by what they do and more what it means to be where they are or who they are. There's perhaps more willingness to be a bit more introspective here. I don't find the same level of machismoism or kind of toxic masculinity or just a whole lot of the stereotypes. And I really appreciate that here. It is one more aspect that I appreciate about the European experience. There is just a sense of people being a little more grounded in who they are and what they do. And as always, I recognize in my experience, in the neighborhoods I'm in kind of what I have been doing and where I have been going, there is a massive amount of privilege. There's a very, very different Parisian experience for those who are struggling, for those who don't have the same means that I have. And I recognize how fortunate I am. I am deeply grateful about that. But I think I come back to just feeling and knowing the contrast between kind of my North American corporate life and a European kind of daily life. And I don't know that European daily life is the end all and be all, but I think it is absolutely a regular experience that I want to and need to repeat, and more than just a few weeks vacation each year. And that will have to get figured out over time. And I don't know what the pathway looks like for that. I continue to try and build my life towards an income that is flexible, an income that is more geographically independent, because that is an important aspect to me. And I don't know how that will that will pan out. I don't know where I will be 5 years from now, 10 years from now, what I will be doing, where I will be. And I'm completely okay with that because I feel like this is one decision to the next, but they are each aligned decisions. They are each decisions that represent a life that is more meaningful for me, that is more expansive for me, that is one that more fulfills me far more than before for me. And it is lined up with all of those midlife aspects. It was letting go of the approval or opinions or perceived judgments of others. It was no longer worrying or trying to get my worth from my title, from my salary, from my position, and kind of letting go of what felt certain. And I think, again, this is a time when a whole lot of people are starting to realize what felt certain is far less certain than ever. Um, a corporate role may feel safe right up until the days that layoffs come, and then everybody realizes just how unsafe it is. And so I think there's also an aspect of me that wants to be the author of my own chapters. I want that ability to choose what my path is going to be rather than always searching for the organization that will accept me or the organization that will choose me for a position. And as I say, I think the more I have traveled, the more I have spent time in a non-corporate space, I find that solopreneur, entrepreneur space a really engaging one, a really exciting one, and one that I continue to want to explore. So, yeah, one more day. I think I will leave with a great deal of satisfaction. I can happily get back on that plane and return back home. I am somewhat ready to go home. I think some part of me would want to do both. I think my perfect world would be a magic metro station down the street from me where I could hop on and get off at a Paris metro station 20 minutes later. Not going to be the case, but that's okay. And I think I got everything out of this experience that I wanted to. It didn't go the way necessarily that I thought it would go, but I think there's a great deal of richness that happened within that space about learning about myself. And even kind of a bad experience of Paris was going to be far better than a bad experience of stuck in a corporate role or just in a place in my life that felt flat and uninspiring. And I'm glad that you've been able to take this journey and see some of those insights and understand what that journey has been like, because I don't think it is something that is specially reserved for me. I think all of us have the ability to make those changes in our life to start moving towards what it is that we truly want in our lives. And I very much encourage you to start spending some time thinking about what you want at a heart level, even as that might sound a little bit cliche. It is important to figure out what it is that will get you out of bed and have you excited and looking forward to your day. And if that's not the case right now, this is your chance to make a course correction, because so many of us are doing that, and so many of us will need to do that and continue to do that. And you may not know how all the pieces are going to fit together. The path may not be fully clear. It will emerge. Just start and go one step at a time, and you'll get there. I promise you. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you for one more in this series tomorrow as we wrap up with day 30. Bye for now.